Okay guys, I hope everyone is doing well and staying healthy. In today's video, I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to give you a little bit of a news update on what's going on with the coronavirus and how different states are responding to it. And then we're going to finish going over Chapter 17, Test A. As always, if you have any questions, comment at the end of the video or send me an email. If you take a look at the map that I have up on the screen, you can see that it's a color-coded map of the United States. The darkest red states are the ones with the most confirmed cases of coronavirus. And if you notice, we are actually one of the lighter colored ones, which means in Ohio we have less cases. One of the reasons we have less cases is we started taking some precautions early on. They closed down school, closed down a lot of businesses, shut down the gatherings, made it so people shouldn't get together in groups of people. Some of the other states that acted a little bit later, you can see the consequences. Like New York, they have more people than us and they're much more densely populated, but they have 67,000 confirmed cases, so way more than Ohio does. And I realize it's not fun staying home all day, but it is helping to slow the spread of the coronavirus, and it could help prevent the hospitals from being overwhelmed. Let's take a second look at Chapter 17 test. I'm going to give you a few more page numbers to find some answers and help you out on just a couple more questions. So this top part, multiple choice, we have that taken care of. Let's go down to the bottom. For B, an agency that was established to provide help to former slaves. You're going to find the answer to that on page 336. Let's look at letter D, the president assassinated by John Wilkes Booth. So if you think back to the beginning of the chapter, the first lesson, I told you about one president who wanted to put the country back together and he was assassinated. That's going to be your answer. And then F, white politicians who control the African American politicians. They were people who manipulated, they used people. That is on page 341. Let's take a look at the second page. Number 16. The blank said the Bill of Rights covered African Americans as well as whites. You can find the answer to that on page 336. Number 18. The blank were Northerners who were elected officials in the South and took advantage of others. They made promises they didn't keep. You're going to find that on page 341. Okay, let's go down to the bottom. How did sharecroppers pay for the use of the land they farmed? So these are people who used to be slaves and now they're free and they are working on farmers' land, and in exchange what they have to do, they get to live there basically for free, but they have to grow all the crops and give the crops to the landowner. So how did they pay for the use of the land? They gave up their crops and profit. And this is an especially bad deal because no matter how hard these freedmen are working, they're going to end up with a smaller piece of it. The plantation owner is going to get to keep most of the money, even though the sharecropper or the freedman is doing all of the work. So let's look at the last page. Number 27. Describe how people in southern states limited the freedmen's right to vote. There's two main things they did. They passed laws that only applied to African Americans. Those were called black codes. And the black codes were the laws that limited what kind of property people could own. They specifically said that black people could not vote. It took away a lot of their legal rights, and they only applied to the African Americans. They also passed another unfair set of laws. When the 14th Amendment got passed, it basically said that everyone is guaranteed equal rights, and you can't just take away somebody's right to vote, but the South continued to do it anyway by passing these laws called grandfather clauses. And what those laws said was if your grandfather couldn't vote, you can't vote. And they used that to stop the freedmen from voting because their grandparents could never vote. So that means they can't vote. And when they have children, their children's grandparents wouldn't have been able to vote, so they can't vote either. So this was just another grimy way to stop them from voting. And I'm going to give you a little bit of help on the last question. Compare the problems of the Johnson administration with Grant administration. So while Andrew Johnson was president, he struggled for a couple different reasons. He's the one that took over after Abe Lincoln was assassinated, and every time Congress passed a law, he would veto it. So what did they try to do when he kept vetoing the laws? That's going to be Andrew Johnson's main problem. Grant's main problems are a little bit different. Grant is a good guy. He's well liked, but there's something wrong with the people he trusts. Okay, guys, take your time, answer the rest of them, and stay healthy.